Before you dive into that avoidant relationship or avoidant dating, there's some fundamental questions that you should actually ask yourself. These are literally the 5 things that you need to know about avoidant behavior in dating. And I want to lead this right to you with a moment of self-reflection. And the most important thing that I want to share with you up front, you have to identify your core relational values. For instance, if you value communication and you value emotional connection and intimacy, if it's ranked at the absolute top for you, then be extremely attuned to the signs of distancing or their emotional unavailability. And that's where you have to prioritize your self-valuation. It's part of self-esteem to value who you are. Remember, your own emotional needs, boundaries, and worth are non-negotiable. And when you have an avoidant dynamic, building your own closure or stepping away when it's time can be a courageous, self-respecting act. You have to understand that when you are getting to know somebody, there is an us, and 2 people are nourishing a friendship and nourishing a connection. But here's what I want you to connect. I want you to connect to the idea that if you overlook these insights on avoidant attachment in dating, if you overlook them, it's going to be extremely painful. Now, let's talk about 5 nuanced and deeply psychological points. The very first one is what we call avoidant discard. When things get too good, when avoidant individuals exit relationships, not during conflict, but when their connections actually deepen, when intimacy actually blossoms, their nervous systems start to get all frantic. And this is a sudden departure. They just up and leave. This is known as the avoidant discard. It's rooted in a fear of closeness, and more often than not, vulnerability is not in their vocabulary. It's not the decline of feelings. It's not spiteful. It is straight up survival driven. And there is a neurobiology of detachment. This is what we call lower oxytocin levels. So there's a lot of studies on this. And it indicates that avoidants, they have lower levels of oxytocin. And that's the bonding hormone. So making emotional connection biologically is not just difficult, it's challenging. It's not just a learned avoidance. It's not something they've just learned. And there is a predictive coding. That brings us over to the next point. Predictive coding and suppressed interoception. So here's what we want to understand through neuroscience. What they've come to understand is that avoidant attachment, it involves suppression of internal emotional signal. So this is what we call interoceptive cues. So this dulling, the dulling down of their inner emotional awareness is an adaptive strategy. And you know what it's rooted in? Let me tell you. It's rooted in early caregiving stress. They had a parent that probably made them do that. It's helpful in childhood, but it's completely limiting in adult intimacy. That brings us over to the next point. You have to be able to give invisible support. What do I mean by that? It's like loving, but without words. Avoidants, they struggle with overt emotional expression. They struggle with it. Yet, they can show care through subtle, unspoken acts. And this invisible support, it's like managing shared tasks quietly. It can be a critical survival strategy that avoids emotional overwhelm while still expressing care. Now, it brings us over to the next point, is fear of intimacy as an existential protection. They may fear being intimate. For many avoidant individuals, emotional closeness, it triggers deep anxiety. They may even stumble on their words. It's a fear of vulnerability. They may not understand the concept between militaristic vulnerability and vulnerability. And you gotta understand vulnerability that equates to intimacy it could be equated with potential loss or feeling exposed. They feel like they're losing who they are in the relationship. They go through what I call the avoidant attachment toggle. The avoidant attachment toggle is me, them, me, them, me, them. I'm focusing on me, now I'm focusing on them. I'm focusing on me, I'm focusing on them. And it goes back and forth because they have difficulty actually merging that other person into their life. So this fear is literally having its roots in early attachment wounds. And you know what? It continues to shape their relationship dynamic unconsciously and quietly. So those right there are the 5 things that you want to know when you're dating an avoidant. My best advice to you for the non-avoidant is that if you value emotional closeness and you value connection and you're seeing all these signals of dismissive behavior, dismissive communication, you're seeing a lack of communication, lack of effort, lack of everything, you have to understand this is not about you, it's not about them. When you're developing a friendship, it takes 2 to tango. Both people must nourish that connection. Both people must nourish that relationship. That's what it's all about. It's not a one-way street like people think it is. And that's all I'm going to say on today's episode. Have a great day and see you on the next video.